So I closed on the sale of my big shop this week, which was super exciting, but that also meant I had to get all of the last odds and ends out of there and moved here to the garage. And what I thought was going to be a pretty organized shop space has turned into what you see now, which is obviously kind of a wreck. And so before I can get any work done, before I can start on any new projects in here, I need to get things organized. And so I figured we can kind of go through that process in this video, since I know a lot of you guys are also working out of smaller shops, and I thought you might be interested in seeing some of the different organization stuff I have going on in here. So I started the process of unearthing my shop here in this corner with my dust collector, and I figured these two cabinets here above the dust collector would be a perfect spot to store all of my finishing supplies and adhesives and lubricants. I like to keep all that stuff together because usually I'm using similar other accessories with them, things like rubber gloves and stuff like that. So went ahead and got all of my clear finishes and glue and all the things that go along with those, like foam brushes and popsicle sticks for mixing up 2-part hard wax oils. All that kind of stuff is in this right cabinet. And then in the left cabinet, I've got some different adhesives like epoxy and contact cement, as well as the different lubricants I use like paste wax and silicone spray. I also went ahead and got this really cool glove holder and spray bottle mount added to the outside of this cabinet door, because those are two things I use almost every time I'm going to be finishing a project. I use the water to pop the grain, and then obviously the gloves to keep the finish off of my hands. I also went ahead and mounted this old crafted workshop sign I'd cut out probably close to 10 years ago now at our first shop on my first CNC, and that thing's pretty cool, and it just so happened to fit perfectly on this cabinet door. Next on the list was getting this work surface mounted above this dust collector, and that's something I've mentioned a few times in the videos about setting up this shop. It's one of the cool things about the form factor of this particular dust collector, and I could really reclaim the space above the dust collector by adding this work surface. So to mount it, I use these fast cap speed braces, which I've used a ton in the past. They're extremely strong metal shelf brackets. All right, let's test the holding power. Oh yeah. But they also work great for these kind of built-in desks or work surfaces. And then as far as the work surface itself, this is the old desktop from the standing desk that I used for my new assembly table. And so as you might be able to tell, I'm planning to use this area as my sharpening station. Sharpening is one of those things that's been a real struggle for me over the years. I've never really found a system that I loved, and so I figured why not go for it, and I got a Tormek T8, which is I think kind of the Mac daddy of sharpening systems, but I'm incredibly excited to have this thing in my shop. So in case you're not familiar with these Tormek systems, they're water cooled. So basically these sharpening stones run through a water bath, which keeps the stone wet, which also keeps whatever you're sharpening nice and cool. And that's been one of my biggest fears with sharpening over the years, is overheating whatever I'm working on and ruining the temper, because at that point the cutting edge is basically junk, and that's not something you need to worry about with this Tormek system. So I tested it out of the box by sharpening this hand plane, the plane iron on this old Stanley hand plane, and these Tormeks are definitely a little bit overwhelming to get started with. There's lots of different accessories and knobs and things to set up, but they have a great manual that comes with the machine, and I was able to get the plane iron sharpened up to the point where it could easily shave my hair. Then I got it set up in the plane and tested it out on some hard maple and was getting some beautifully thin shaving. So that's definitely working awesome. And one of the coolest things about this machine is that I can sharpen pretty much everything I need to in my life with this one machine. So I can sharpen all the stuff here in the shop, like chisels and plane irons, even drill bits with one of the jigs that goes with this machine. But I can also sharpen all of my kitchen knives and pocket knives, axes, lawnmower blades. I mean, you name it, this thing can sharpen it, and it's going to do it extremely well and extremely quickly. And I'm definitely a newbie to this system, so I will certainly be learning on the fly as I go. And if you guys have any tips, if you guys have a Tormek for yourself, I would love to hear them. So next up on the list was something I hadn't really fully worked out as far as how I was going to set it up here in the garage shop, and that was my lumber storage. And so I'd kind of put it off and kind of ran out of a lot of the wall space here in the garage, but one area that wasn't being used was the area above our garage door, which as it turns out, I think is pretty perfect for storing lumber. So our garage door is 16 feet wide, so that means I can store 16-foot long material above the garage door. Now that I'm planning on doing that, but it's just going to give me a lot of lumber storage to work with, and it's not terribly high off the ground, so I can get this stuff down with a step ladder pretty easily. Now, I'm not going to be storing nearly as much lumber in this shop as I did at my last shop, because lumber takes up a ton of room, especially plywood. But my plan is to basically just keep the material on hand that I need for my next couple of projects. I'm not planning on having a lot of bulk long-term lumber or plywood storage. But as far as the particular shelf brackets I used, I found this system made by Delta. They're metal, super strong. They can hold a couple 100 pounds per bracket. And so I think it's gonna be perfect for lumber storage. I can adjust the positioning of the uprights if I need to change the spacing on those in the future. And it just so happened to fit perfectly above our garage door. And so the only lumber I actually have on hand here in the shop is some of this walnut that I resawed for an upcoming dresser project, and then a little bit of hard maple. I did keep all of those walnut slabs that I bought from my buddy Jamie Perkins from the Perkins Builder Brothers. Those are in a storage unit currently. I just couldn't bring myself to sell that material. It is beautiful wood. I got a great deal from Jamie, and even paying for the storage unit, I think it's gonna be well worth it. And I think I should be able to work through that material in the next year or so with some of the projects I have planned. As I mentioned, plywood storage is another thing I need to figure out. I had planned on storing it kind of immediately inside the garage door here. I'd even mocked that up in SketchUp, but the thing I didn't model up in my SketchUp model were the garage door rails. And as it turns out, those are less than 8 feet off the ground, so getting a full sheet of plywood in and out of that spot is super awkward. So I need to come up with a different system for that. I'm probably gonna be using a little bit less plywood than I did at my larger shop, just because, as you know, if you have a small shop, working with plywood can be a real struggle. So let's take a second to talk about the sponsor of this week's video, Monarch. So I run my own business, this YouTube channel, and my wife and I manage our family finances together. And for the longest time, that meant bouncing around to a bunch of different websites and apps, all with different logins, and it was a real hassle to manage. And I had business stuff in one place, and we had personal accounts in another place, and trying to keep on top of everything was a huge hassle. And that's where Monarch comes into play. So Monarch pulls everything into one super clean dashboard. It has our accounts, spending, our net worth, everything is in one place. And with Monarch, my wife and I know we're both looking at the same dashboard, the same goals, the same recurring bills, without having to deal with all those separate logins and authentications. What I really like about Monarch is that it is totally private and ad-free. You are the customer, not the product, so there are no ads and no selling of your data. The budgeting side of Monarch is also super flexible. It separates your fixed spending from your flexible spending, so you're not having to micromanage every transaction. And there's some AI-powered insights built in that help give you an overview of how your money's doing without feeling like you're just staring at a bunch of raw numbers. Monarch syncs with over 13,000 banks and brokerages. It's completely seamless between web and mobile, and the setup process is super fast. So if you want to try Monarch for yourself, click the link in the video description below and use my code CRAFTED50 for 50% off your first year of Monarch. Thanks again to Monarch for sponsoring this week's video, and let's get back to work. So next on the list as far as wall storage was getting this metal pegboard installed, and this stuff is made by Wall Control. I had this installed at my last shop, and it's a really nice system. It's super flexible and adjustable, which is exactly what I want with a wall mounted storage system. I know a lot of y'all in the comments have asked why I don't just screw stuff directly to the walls, since these are plywood walls after all, and that's because, at least for me, as soon as I screw something to the wall, it is very unlikely that I'm gonna move it. And that's because I do not want my walls to end up looking like Swiss cheese over the years. I plan to be in this shop space for a long time. I get new tools pretty regularly, so things are always moving around, and I personally much prefer a more flexible system like this kind of metal pegboard or French cleat. But so these panels are really easy to install. I just set up a line laser and just got them screwed down. I didn't even have to be that careful about making sure I hit the studs every single time, since just screwing the panels to the plywood itself is probably strong enough for the kind of stuff I'm hanging here. And then once the panels were mounted, I could start getting everything organized. And so Wall Control makes a ton of different accessories for hanging all kinds of different stuff, as you can see. And one of my main goals with this wall was mounting some of the accessories that go along with the tools that are on this wall. So next to the bandsaw, I mounted things like feather boards and bandsaw blades. Next to my drill press, I mounted things like drill bits and some of the other accessories that go along with my drill press. And then here in front of my router table, I decided I wanted to wall mount some of my router bits versus having them in the slide out drawers like I did on my previous router table setup. And none of the Wall Control accessories I had on hand really worked well for router bits, and so I started looking around online, and as it turns out, there are a huge amount of 3D printed accessories available for Wall Control. And so thankfully I have a 3D printer, a couple of them actually, and so I could go ahead and print out some of these router bit mounts. And these are really nice. They come in 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch sizes. I just printed out a handful of each and then went ahead and got them mounted and organized my extensive router bit collection on the mounts. And I think this is gonna be a really nice system. I actually think it's gonna be a lot lot easier to use than the slide out tray. I think it's a lot easier to see what bits I have available when they're wall mounted like this. And I just think this is such a cool time to be someone who makes stuff, because at least to me, 3D printers still feel like very futuristic tech. It's kind of unbelievable that for a couple $100, I mean, you can get a really solid 3D printer for like $300. You can print a whole arsenal of different accessories to help improve the storage in your life. There are great storage systems out there for your kitchen drawers, for your desk, all that kind of stuff. Plus, I have 2 young kids and they obviously love 3D printing as well, so it's super fun to get them involved. I know some people, when I talked about digital fab in my last video, had mentioned being on the fence about 3D printing, but personally, I think the barrier to entry is so low, there's really not much of a reason not to at least try it out. I also wanted to get this Milwaukee installation driver mounted on this pegboard system, and as it turned out, there was already a mount out there available that I could just download and print. But the real problem this solved was not mounting the drill itself. That's pretty easy. I have a drill charging station for that. It's dealing with these chucks. So in case you guys aren't familiar with this installation drill, it has 4 different chucks that allow you to use it in tighter areas. And these are really great if you're working inside of cabinets. That can get super awkward, but dealing with these 4 different chucks has been a struggle for me. They're usually just rolling around in a drawer or tucked away somewhere, but as it turned out, somebody had already designed a 3D printed mount for these. And as you can see, it is really easy to remove and add those chucks when I'm not using them. And so the layout of this wall will definitely evolve as I use my tools and find other things I want to store on here. I definitely have plenty of space that I'm not utilizing as efficiently as I could, but I think that's the beauty of a system like this, is that it can grow with you over time and you're not locked into one exact setup. Because if you guys are anything like me, you're always looking for an excuse to add a new tool or gadget to your shop. And by having a system like this, you'll know that you'll have an easy way to store those new things. So next on the list, I needed to figure out where to store all of my screws. And I honestly felt a little lost without having my screws organized. So in case you guys didn't see it, I had organized all of my screws using this Gridfinity system, which is basically a mix of these bins and these plates. And so the way the system works is you take these plates, install them in your drawer or wherever else you want to mount this stuff. And then the bins have the same geometry as the plates built onto the bottom of them. So that way, when you sit the bins in place, they are locked in. And so this was a total game changer for me as far as storing all of the various screws I have. And I guess I'm maybe a bit of a fastener nerd because I have probably way too many types of screws, but that's just how I am. So I need to keep those organized, and this has been by far the best system for that for me. The trouble is, these were all set up in my assembly table at my old shop. That assembly table did not make it here to this new shop. It was just too big, so I sold it as part of the move, and now I needed to figure out where to store all those screws here. And so, as you might remember, I needed to resize the last cabinets in this run for this miter saw station to fit on this wall, and as it turned out, the newly resized cabinets were perfectly sized to work with these Gridfinity plates. And so before I got started on installing the Gridfinity system, I needed to go ahead and cut down the drawers to fit in the newly resized cabinets. Thankfully, this was pretty easy because everything was just screwed together. And this is a prime example of why I personally try to avoid using glue to assemble things on shop projects. I know, at least for me, shop furniture tends to evolve over time. And so because none of these drawers were glued together, it was super easy to cut them down and reassemble them. And once I repeated that process for all 3 drawers in this cabinet, I could go ahead and get started on the Gridfinity system. And so when I'm printing these plates, I typically just print them as large as I can on my 3D printer bed, and then I can just cut them down to fit in whatever drawers I'm installing them in after printing. And so in this case, I cut them down using my table saw, which I don't think I've ever done before, and it was definitely a little sketchy because these are pretty fragile, but besides a couple of the pieces flying off around the shop, it went okay, and then I could get them installed in the drawer. And on this first drawer, I decided to use double-sided tape, but not sure that was the greatest option because now when I put the bins in, they also have the tendency to stick to that double-sided tape. I'm sure the stickiness will wear off over time, but I think there are better options for mounting these plates in your drawers. So in this lower drawer, I decided to store all of my Dominoes and dowels and biscuits, and I have bins for all the various sizes of those that I use. And then I had enough room to store all of my various random orbit sandpaper discs in there as well. And these were all just models I downloaded off of printables. I didn't model any of this stuff myself. So again, it's kind of an amazing world we live in that I can custom print all of this stuff for exactly what I need. And so then on the upper drawer, I decided to use that for my screw storage. And so as it turned out, these drawers are tall enough that I can fit 2 layers of bins in them. And so this Gridfinity system is designed in a way where you can stack the bins, and that can be a really good option. Personally, for me, with this type of storage, I don't want to have to move bins out of the way to figure out where some of my other screws are. And so instead, I decided to build a sliding tray that would add about 50% more screw storage to this drawer. So I started by adding some 1/4-inch plywood rails inside the drawer. I just glued these in place, and these are what the tray will slide on. Then I could go ahead and get the Gridfinity plates installed on the bottom layer, again, cutting them to size. This time though, instead of the double stick tape, I used super glue, which was a much better option. Can be a little bit messy, but you really don't need much of it to lock these in place. And then once the plates were mounted, I could go ahead and get the sliding tray built. And this was super simple. I used 1/4-inch plywood for the bottom and 1/2-inch plywood for the sides. This is a great way to use up all of those random scraps you have hanging around. And I did have to get a little creative with the way I cut the sides to make sure I could get all of the sides out of the scraps I had on hand. But I got that done and then assembled the tray using glue and pin nails. And this is definitely not a fine furniture project, just a quick and dirty shop project, and glue and pin nails work great. And this combination makes for a super strong tray. Once I had it assembled, I went ahead and sanded the tray to flush up the bottom panel with the sides, and I went ahead and broke all the sharp edges, because the last thing I want on any of my shop furniture is a sharp edge that I can run my knuckle into. And then finally I added a little paste wax to the bottom edge and the sides of the tray just to make it slide nice and smooth. Once all that was done, I got the tray dropped into the drawer, and as expected, it worked perfectly, and so then I can go ahead and get it loaded up. And so I put some of my most used screws in this sliding tray, and for me, that's a lot of my kind of cabinetry related screws. So things like drawer slide screws, screws for mounting a false front on the front of a drawer, and then the screws I use to assemble cabinets. Those are all up top. And then down below, I have some of my longer, more kind of construction oriented screws, some drywall anchors, and then all of my nails and those type of fasteners. So pin nails, brad nails, narrow crown staples. And so the beauty of this system is that I can still easily access everything within this drawer. I can still grab these bins and take them to my workbench if I want to have them with me, but everything stores really nicely away. And I just think this is a great system for maximizing the storage in your drawers. And this definitely isn't just limited to the shop. This is also great for desks or kitchens. I know we have a similar 2-level slide out for our silverware drawer in our kitchen, and it's just really nice to be able to maximize the storage in your drawers. And so as you can probably tell, there's still a lot left to do here in the shop, but I am finally feeling a little bit more settled in this space, and I am really excited to have the big move out of my previous shop behind me. And I apologize if my video output has been a little light lately. Moving out of that shop space was an incredible amount of work. I was basically a full-time Facebook Marketplace salesman over the last 3 months, but thankfully that is all behind me, and I can get to work building projects here in the garage. So hopefully you guys are as excited as I am about me being in this space. If it happens to be your first time here, go ahead and get subscribed and ring the notification bell so you don't miss my future projects. I'll link all the tools and stuff I used in this video in the video description below. And last, if you're just getting started on your woodworking journey and want some more pro tips and beginner-friendly project tutorials, check out my beginner woodworking course, Jumpstart Your Woodworking. All right, thanks for watching, y'all, and until next week, happy building.